To all who listen to this happy pod, welcome. My name is Noah Parker, and welcome to DCOM Kids. I'm joined by my co-host, Marci.
Hello.
And we are having a weird glitch that I don't know if you guys are experiencing too, but I'm going to try to fix that real quick.
Yeah.
Not on me, I'm on you. Okay. Well, that seems to have resolved itself.
Okay.
You know what it was?
You
You remember how I said that like it was playing really slowly, and then I like reconnected and it was playing normally?
Was it
I think
catching up?
it was catching up.
I see.
So, that being said, welcome everyone to the first night of our spooky Halloween special. We're going to be doing 2 weeks of this basically, where we're going to rewatch Halloweentown. We actually already did.
Yes.
That's how this works. And then we will be rewatching Halloweentown 2 Calabar's Revenge next Friday. So if you want to get a jump start on that, of course, next Sunday. What did I say? Friday? Friday's trivia, guys. Friday's trivia. Yep, lost my train of thought there, but that's okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, Halloweentown 2 Calabar's Revenge will be next week. So if you want to get a head start, you can do that anytime between now and next Sunday. You have a full week, okay?
Yes.
So, let's see. What do I normally talk about before we get started? I guess I could say welcome our lovely viewers. We welcome you to our podcast. And if you have anything you'd like to interject, feel free to drop it in the comment section and we will respond as we see it. I'm not constantly looking over there, so I might miss it every now and again. But for the most part, I'll try to interact with you guys because I want this to be interactive. It's kind of the whole point of live streaming.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Marci, how are you?
I'm doing good. I just finished my first weekend of performances, so
excellent.
That's why my hair is down and
And what are you performing
features.
in right now?
We're performing The Prom.
The Prom.
Yes. You just Google it. It'll pop
Right
up.
on. Do you want to share what theater you're doing that at, or would you rather not?
We can. If somebody wants to, any of you weirdos out there. No, it's at the Arts Hub in Lafayette.
Excellent. Yeah. Marci's been. You've been doing stuff over there for a couple years now, right?
Yeah, I'm going into my third year.
Going into your third year, okay. Because, we used to do Jester's Dinner Theater together for a long time. I haven't done it in a while. Speaking of which, I think I am doing Scrooge this year. I hope. Fingers crossed. But yeah, so we were at Jester's together, and then Jester's was supposed to close.
Yeah,
and then
technically they closed.
They did close for like a
reopened.
month, didn't they?
It was a little longer than that.
And then they were like, yeah, well, let's just.
And then they reopened.
Yeah.
So they closed at the end of May, and then they reopened in the end of November because they started Scrooge that year.
Right.
So they were closed from June to December.
Gotcha.
Basically.
Well, there you go. I think that covers it. That's about that's some chitter chatter to get started, right? Again, welcome everyone. If you are new to the stream, what we do here is we rewatch a DCOM. Particularly this week, we rewatched Halloweentown, like I said a minute ago, and then we come on here and we talk about the cast. We talk about the director, basically the casting crew. Not really talk about them. We just kind of introduce them and the writers of the film. And then we do a Disney Plus summary. So the way that Disney Plus summarizes the film.
Yes.
And then we do our scene by scene recap, I guess, that we write ourselves. This one was written by me.
Yeah.
I felt like since I've watched this movie more recently than some of the other ones, that I was able to take more detailed notes the entire way through. I feel like it's more consistent across the board with how much note taking there was. So yeah, without any further ado, everyone, let's jump in. I'm going to start off by just talking about the release date. This movie was released in 1998. So currently we're talking about films in 2000 and we've dropped back because originally we skipped the Halloweentown movies. Actually, it was just the one because we haven't got to Halloweentown 2 yet in the lineup. So we're actually going to be skipping ahead when we get to Halloweentown 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this one was in 1998 and it was written by 3 people, which is the first time we've had 3 writers on one. But that was Paul Birnbaum, thank you. And then the second one, go ahead.
John Cooksey.
And Ali Allie Marie Matheson, which is actually funny.
That is pretty funny.
Our dad worked for a company called Matheson at one point, and it's just one of those things that pops into it's like the yellow bus effect. Like when you see it, the yellow bus effect. Like if I tell you not to look for a yellow bus, you see them everywhere.
Yeah.
So like you see Matheson and you're like, oh hey,
it's there.
Cast. Kimberly J. Brown played Marnie Piper, our lead.
Debbie Reynolds played Aggie Cromwell. Sorry.
No, you're good. I knew the name cut off, and I meant to have you start this, and I forgot.
That's okay.
Then Joey Zimmerman played Dylan Piper.
Then Emily Rosk played Sophie Piper.
Gwen Piper was played by Judith. We've had this name before, I swear.
I think it's Hoig.
Hoig?
Yeah.
I swear we've had that name before.
Probably.
And I remember tripping over it then too.
Yeah. It's dyslexia. It's fine.
It's okay.
Philip Von Dyke played Luke.
Kenneth Choi played the hip sales creature.
I believe that's the man who sold the broom to her.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Robin Thomas played Calabar.
And Reno Romano played Benny, the skeleton crab. Good grief. Then I said that, so this is you.
Yes. It was directed by Dwayne Dunham.
The music was by Mark Mothersberger?
Mothersbaugh?
Is that an A? That looked like an O. Might be.
That's an
A. Mark Mothersbaugh.
Cinematography by Michael Slovis.
And it was edited by Martin Nicholson.
Nice.
So that is our casting crew. I like to shout out the cinematographers and the editors because, as some of you know and some of you don't know, that is what I went to school for. Not what I went to school for. I didn't go to school for cinematography. But video production was what I went to school for. So those are, I feel like, are the unsung heroes. Like, they speak deeply to me. But Disney Plus summary. Do you want to? I'll let you read that one since I kick off this scene by scene.
Okay. All right. Disney Plus summary. This comedy adventure follows Marnie and her younger siblings as they follow their estranged grandmother, a good witch, Debbie Reynolds, to her home in Halloweentown, where witches, goblins, vampires, and the like lead very normal lives. On her 13th birthday, Marnie learns that... Sorry, I lost my place.
You're good?
Marnie learns that she comes from a witch family and that she, too, is a witch. When she discovers that an evil force is plotting to take over Halloweentown, she must help her mother and grandmother save the day.
Good job, Disney Plus.
I don't know if it's her 13th birthday.
It's not necessary. I don't. Well, now that I'm thinking about it, I can't remember if they specifically say it is.
She just says it's her 13th.
It's her 13th Halloween.
It's her 13th Halloween.
I know that.
They don't
specify
specify
for sure.
that it's her birthday.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I like that I found it. So when we first started doing DCOM rewatches, we were always like, the one on Disney Plus is like 4 words.
Yeah.
Like maybe a sentence.
Yeah.
And then I realized that if you click details, you get a full thing,
yeah.
and it's a lot better. And I like pulling it from Disney Plus instead of IMDb sometimes and random Google pages other times. So, or writing it ourselves.
Yeah.
Consistency. Let's just get it from one spot.
Yeah.
Excellent. So let's jump into the scene by scene, shall we?
Let's do it.
Alrighty. So, a spooky theme leads us into the sacred jack-o'-lantern of Halloweentown, whose flame is fading. We are then dropped into a less spooky, more upbeat tune that drops us... I said drops way too many times in there. That drops us into the Piper house. Marnie attempts to get permission from her mother to attend a costume party, but is unsuccessful. I forgot to write that.
Being rejected, Marnie pleads to understand why her siblings and herself are unable to participate in the festivities, while their little sister Sophie eerily repeats, someone is coming, as if she is sensing something the others can't.
Soon, an old woman arrives by way of a flying bus. We are then introduced to Aggie Cromwell, the grandmother of Marnie, Dylan, and Sophie. Sophie's magical abilities start to leak, resulting in a cookie she desperately wishes to eat being levitated towards her, causing her mom to snatch it out of the air before Sophie can see it.
Grandma unpacks tons of Halloween decorations and announces that this is Marnie's 13th.
It must have been her 13th birthday because I was writing this as it was happening.
Marnie's 13th birthday, hinting that it is very important. Marnie goes on to express her knowledge of spooky things, which excites Aggie.
After sending the kids to bed, Aggie discusses the possibility that Gwen and her kids move back home, which almost springs a fight, but is quickly extinguished by Gwen's desire not to fight, and makes Aggie promise not to tell the kids about her, quote, home.
Seconds later, Aggie does just the opposite of...
They're supposed to say bye.
Opposite by...
Concealing.
Okay, sorry.
What happens when you don't proofread everything before
Seconds later, Aggie does just the opposite by concealing the information about Halloweentown as if it were a story inside a book titled Halloweentown. There is an illustration of a witch on a broom who bears a striking resemblance to Marnie. Of course, Aggie is caught by Gwen trying to subtly reveal to Marnie that she is in fact a witch, spawning the fight she was so desperate to avoid.
As ever in Disney movies, the argument between Aggie and Gwen is overheard by Marnie, finally revealing to her that she is not normal and is indeed a witch. But just as Gwen is about to kick Aggie out, Aggie reveals that darkness is falling over Halloweentown and she is in desperate need of help.
Marnie reveals her findings to Dylan, who doesn't believe her. But as Marnie leaves, she is followed out the house by Dylan. They discover the bus stop that Aggie originally arrived from that typically doesn't exist. Marnie and Dylan sneak onto the bus and find themselves being transported to a world they could never have imagined.
Descending from the sky, we get our first glance into Halloweentown, where we see the flame in the jack-o'-lantern has faded even more. Surrounded by monsters, Dylan tries to logic his mind out of their situation and learn that Sophie has followed them onto the bus. They meet the mayor of Halloweentown and find out he had something of a crush on Gwen.
They're sent to the mayor. They're sent by the mayor to Aggie's house by way of taxi, driven by a skeleton. Benny. Sorry, my reading is so bad tonight. I'm sorry. Driven by skeleton Benny, who is told isn't a very good comedian, but Noah thought he was pretty funny.
I wanted to throw that in there because that made me laugh when it popped into my head.
They arrive at Grandma's house, but the gate is locked, leading Marnie to attempt a spell that would unlock the gate. Sophie is the one, however, who is successful in opening the gate by wishing the lock was a frog.
Super random, but I'm totally here for it.
Yep.
The group is introduced next to the, quote, witch's glass, a cauldron that allows Aggie to see the coming doom, although they can't be sure what that doom actually is. Grandma shares that time in the mortal world moves slower than time in Halloweentown. Marnie, now dedicated to being the hero of Halloweentown, commits to helping Aggie collect ingredients and brew a potion that will power her talisman, which she obtained from
Marlin's talisman.
Yeah, I was going to say it was obtained by somebody. Marlin's talisman.
Back at home, finally deciding to turn off silly infomercials, Gwen discovers the kids are gone and naturally blames her mother, Aggie. In Halloweentown, Aggie takes the kids on a grand tour of the town and introduces them to some of its residents. Aggie is stunned when she sees her neighbor, Harriet, poking.
Looking. That was supposed to say looking. I don't
Harriet,
know what happened
looking
there.
much different than when she interacted with her not long before. She then shares her fears with the mayor, who assures her he has it under control.
After discovering the broom dealership, Marnie begs to get her own flying broom, and after agreeing, the, quote, big cheese, Luke, rudely introduces himself to the family, but is dissed by Marnie. They then select a broomstick, and Aggie takes Marnie out on her very first flight. Upon returning, they are greeted by Gwen, who is understandably upset by their deception.
Trying to get the kids home and the bus not running at the moment, Gwen seeks help from the mayor to assist in their transportation needs. When Gwen discovers her old friend Calabar is now mayor, we find out that the two used to be a couple. Calabar is called out to a town emergency, leaving Gwen and the kids without a way home.
Walking home, Aggie is cornered by Luke, who informs her that the Dark One wishes to reveal himself to her alone, as he knows she is attempting to stop him. From Calabar's office, Sophie sees Luke leading Aggie to the closed movie theater, and Marnie decides to follow them to help Aggie.
Inside the theater, Aggie discovers that the Dark One has frozen several citizens and is and is confronted by him as he demands the talisman. When she refuses and commits to defeating him, Gwen and the kids arrive to assist, but Gwen is hit by the Dark One's freezing spell when she pushes Aggie out of the way. But it was all for naught, as Aggie is subsequently hit with another spell and the kids flee.
Marnie takes it upon herself to gather the ingredients and brew the potion herself. I didn't need to say herself there. To save the frozen people. They visit a werewolf salon, and being distracted by Marnie, Dylan collects a handful of the werewolf's hair. One item down, they depart for their local gym, where they collect a vial of a ghost's sweat.
Being easily successful collecting the first two items, their final stop is the dentist to obtain a vampire's fang. Benny appears and offers them a ride back to Aggie's house, but Sophie's intuitions tell her that the bad thing is influencing him, and she commands the dog to chase him away.
Finally back at Aggie's, Marnie brews the potion but can't remember the spell her grandma used. After several failed attempts, once again, Sophie reveals her superior witching talent by revealing she knows the spell. The two sisters then recite the spell and ignite the talisman, and they set out once more for the closed movie theater.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Upon arrival, they attempt to wake Gwen and Aggie using the talisman, but realize it must be installed somewhere. After thinking back to a passing comment made by Aggie, Marnie realizes it must be installed into the jack-o'-lantern. The big cheese, Luke, stops Marnie on her way to the pumpkin to inform her that the Dark One is waiting for her and plans to steal the talisman before she can restore it into the jack-o'-lantern.
The Dark One reveals himself to the rest of the town as a monster before unveiling his true identity, Calabar, this time spelled with a K. Before it was spelled with a C. I thought that was a mistake, but that's how the captions are in the movie. That's the way it's supposed to be. I don't know why changing your name spelling from C to K is so much darker, but anyway. Luke then takes the cloak that Marnie had been wearing to act as a decoy and gets Calabar to attack him, giving Marnie the time to get to the jack-o'-lantern. But Calabar catches on and hits Marnie with a spell just before she can restore it.
Although weakened, Marnie fights with all her strength and drops the talisman into the jack-o'-lantern, breaking all of Calabar's freezing spells. Aggie and Gwen arrive to the town square, where Calabar uses the force to pull the talisman from the jack-o'-lantern. In a moment of anger, Dylan discovers he too has powers, and the five of them take down Calabar, using the talisman against him.
Celebration breaks out. Marnie and Gwen come to a mutual understanding, and Gwen decides to accept their identity as witches. Luke, turning out to be a goblin, reveals he only did what he did because Calabar made him handsome, but Marnie shares his kindness and good heart is what makes him attractive, not his looks. Aggie is invited to live with Gwen and the kids in the mortal world, and they depart on the bus, now driven by Luke. And they all lived spookily ever after.
I can read.
I forgot that I put that in there until this very second. We should have. I remember writing that and being like, "Oh, I need to make sure I let Marty know before we get there." And
I
then
saw
I didn't.
both, and then I just didn't.
That's okay.
I was like, I'll
it's
read
all
it
good.
when we get to it.
It happens. I'm going to spend some time this next week trying to reconfigure
Everything.
things because I don't like that every time I go to camera 2, you can see my computer screen on your camera. So I want to fix that. And also this little T-Rex motion I'm doing over here to switch cameras is really uncomfortable. Yeah. So that will be getting sorted out soon. Sure. Part of me is wondering if I like move the switcher here and like slide the computer more that way, because then I can kind of, but I might have to drill a hole in the table to do that.
Excuse me.
Behind the scenes things aside, let's jump down to our next talking point, which is how did the film hold up?
I mean, for being a fictional movie, I thought it held up pretty good.
I did too. And the number one thing that I wrote down here was that the CGI was pretty silly. Like in some moments it was like arguably terrible.
Right.
But I strongly believe that this film actually works because of the weird, not crappy. I don't want to say crappy because but like the second rate, I would say the second rate CGI in this movie is actually made by the CGI. So I'm actually okay with it for the first time. Like we had worse CGI than we had in like Alley Cat Strike at a couple of times. Yeah. But I'm like, honestly, it adds to the charm to this so much that I'm low key totally here for it.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, so it's kind of all right with me.
Yeah.
That was the number one. Like normally I dock movies for not having super good CGI, but I think in this case,
and also it was 98, so I feel like it was okay CGI for the time that it was.
Yeah.
I don't know when CGI started. I don't know all those details like you do.
I mean, it depends on like what you consider CGI, really.
Yeah.
But probably 90s, 80s, early 80s.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like Tron, the original Tron movie. There was a lot of CGI in there.
Yeah.
But that is like archaic, but also one of those moments where this really, really outdated, very crude CGI actually works better because of it.
Right.
That's how computers were in the 80s, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, so as far as holding up, I would say it held up. It's a fun little film to watch.
Yeah, it's like if you were a Disney kid, like if you watched Disney Channel a lot, it's a classic Halloween movie.
Yeah.
So
I'm just moving cameras around and making sure that things look good. You're good. Don't worry about it.
You're just shaking your head. So
it's because I was switched to camera 2 and then I slid over a couple screens and then I watched the screens change and I'm like, ugh.
I see.
Awesome. Did you have a favorite scene in this movie?
I liked anytime Aggie was going, she would like whistle and her bag followed her.
Oh, dude, I loved Aggie's bag.
She's like, it follows me everywhere. And I was like, it's the Mary Poppins bag.
Yeah, but like the better Mary Poppins. Well, does Mary Poppins bag follow her?
No, she carries
it. So it's a little bit better than Mary Poppins bag because it has an infinite capacity, but she doesn't have to carry it.
Right. Yeah. And I loved how Dylan was like, he's like, I gotta figure out that bag. I gotta figure out what's happening. And I was like, she's a witch, bro.
Right.
That's what's happening with the bag.
That is actually brings me to my favorite scene. And it's like not even really like it was not even like one scene, I guess. It was just like I really love that like in the middle of the experiencing what he's experiencing, Dylan is just like convinced that there's some logical way to explain it. And that logical way is not that we're in a fictional Disney movie.
Right.
And it's witches.
It's like he's like, this has got to be a dream. It's got to be a dream. And then like later he's like all happy and she's like, why are you so happy? And he's like, well, it's a dream. I might as well enjoy it.
Right.
And I was like, good way of looking at it.
I do think that probably another one of my favorite scenes is at the end when like he's getting really mad at Calabar and his hands start glowing and they're like, hey, you're a warlock. Like it's not just the girls. It's like you have the power too. And he's like, no, I don't. That was just static electricity. Yeah, and I'm like, bro.
He's like, this isn't real.
That didn't tingle at all? Like,
what?
Do you have a least favorite scene in this movie? A scene that you think was like, that was like kind of lame.
Let me think. Maybe. I was going to say like, when her friends are over trying to convince her mom to let her go out. Yeah.
I'm kind of with you on that.
Like, it wasn't a bad scene, but it was like, well, it wasn't
it
really
did establish
fully necessary.
Yeah.
It did establish like
that they are not allowed
that they're not allowed outside on
of
Halloween.
Halloween. Really
Yeah.
not allowed to celebrate Halloween.
Yeah.
Which, like, low key, kind of going back to the how did it hold up kind of thing. We weren't really allowed to watch this movie when we were kids.
Right.
It wasn't until we were really old enough to separate the difference between like fiction and reality.
Yeah.
So
I was probably maybe 13 or 14 before I watched this.
yeah, I think I guess I would have been
You would have been like
11
or
12 depending on when you watched it, because I'm sure we watched it together.
Yeah, and I think it was just like we were up
I
late
actually
one
remember
night.
watching Halloweentown High first.
Same.
And then we're like, oh, this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then we watched the other ones when they came on, because it was in October of that,
because I
whatever
think
year
we
that was.
watched Halloweentown High and Return to Halloweentown.
Yeah.
And we were like, why? What?
We're like,
what
where's
is
the
happening?
context here?
So, yeah, and then like it was probably just like we were up late one night and they were playing them.
Yeah.
For the Halloween
Spooktoberfest or whatever they called it.
Whatever they call it.
I think it was Spooktoberfest, actually. Something like that.
It was Spooktober something.
Yeah.
For sure.
I feel like it was Spooktoberfest, but maybe not. Maybe that was a name at some point, but
Yeah.
yeah, awesome.
But,
I don't really feel like I have a least favorite scene. But if I had to be honest, the scene when they go to the mayor's office to get him to take them back.
To figure out the bus situation.
And then he just leaves. I'm like, the only thing that scene did was establish that Calabar and Gwen used to be a couple before she left and went to the mortal world and met William or whatever his name was.
Or whatever his name was, yeah.
Her husband.
It's interesting because it was like, in the end, he made it seem like because she chose a human over him, that's why he turned evil. That's kind of
I kind of got that feeling a little bit too, but then it also, in his little monologue, he's like talking about how she could have been his queen and ruled alongside of him.
You chose a human over me.
It seems like he was going to do it either
anyway.
way, but it probably didn't help.
Yeah.
Probably, like Professor Snape is kind of evil, and like probably because he didn't have the guts or got rejected by Lily. I'm reading the books. I don't know all the answers yet, but he either got rejected or didn't have the guts to like pursue her. I don't know which happened, but
have you watched
whichever.
the movies, or are you waiting to?
I am watching the movies as I finish the books, and I just finished watching or finished reading Half-Blood Prince, and then we watched the movie.
Okay.
And if I'm being honest, I hated that movie. I didn't hate the movie, but I hated that movie compared to the book. I'm like, this is not the same story. Yeah. Some of the points hit, but like a lot of the storyline is so different that I'm like, what did I just read? Like, I've been this is like so off topic right now, but I was like so convinced that watching the movies first would ruin the books for me. But after reading Half-Blood Prince and then watching the movie, I'm like, I could have watched the movie and read the book and had no idea these two things were related.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's a random aside. So, man,
I was getting like Voldemort vibes from him. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, a little bit, but less reason, I guess. I don't know. It's not like he had a Muggle dad that he was mad about. Anyway, what would you give this out of 5 stars? What rating are we giving this?
I'd give it a 4.
I'm not happy with a 4. I would say 3.5 to 4. Yeah. Just because like I'm not super big into Halloween.
I love Halloween.
It's fun. It's fun. But like I'm a Christmas guy myself, so
that's fair.
I'm gonna watch a Christmas movie,
that's
which actually makes me have an idea for a Christmas thing, but we'll talk about that when we get there.
Yeah, I'm excited for Christmas because Disney has a lot of Christmas movies.
They do.
I'm so excited.
The ultimate Christmas present is that's what I think we're gonna do, which is another skip. I think.
I don't think so. I think it's 2000. It's either 2000.
Well, it's gonna be in this range, but like we might have to skip ahead a couple.
Okay.
But I'm not sure because it might actually be we have to skip it and then come back to it.
Remember 'Twas the Night Before Christmas?
Vaguely.
Or I think it's just 'Twas the Night.
Vaguely.
Is that a DCOM?
I don't remember.
If it is, I want
another thing I've noticed recently while scrolling through the DCOM thing is that the last DCOM that comes up on Disney Plus when you go into the DCOM sorted section, I think the last one that comes up is Starstruck or something like that.
Really?
Yeah. So we might have to like manually find them
Okay.
after that, because I know that wasn't the last one.
No, because
I'm pretty sure Teen Beach Movie came out after that. Let me talk about something random, and I'm going to go onto the interwebs and see if I can find it.
Funny you mentioned interwebs. There's a couple scenes in our show, in the prom, where they say interwebs, and me and my castmates were like, it's interesting that they say interwebs, because I don't feel like people say that anymore, but I guess they do.
They do, but like it's more ironic than anything right now, I think.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah, because she goes, hello, interwebs. I won't spoil the rest of it for you. Come
Good
see
enough.
The show if you're my friend and you're watching. We have
Star Trek is the last one that comes up. Sorry,
we have 4 more performances.
Did I just say Star Trek?
You did, but
Struck is the last one that comes up.
Love that movie.
Teen Beach Movie 2 has come out since then. Mm-hmm. Several movies have come out since then.
Yeah.
So after we get there, this is like a ways away, because we're barely in the beginning of the 2000s. We got a little ways to get there, but yeah. While I'm here, let me just scroll and see where we hit the ultimate Christmas present. 'Twas the Night is in fact a DCOM.
Yes.
And you know what? We're gonna have to skip ahead to that. That's actually the next DCOM, the first Christmas DCOM. So we're gonna actually skip ahead to that. Yeah. And not
When's
the ultimate
Christmas present.
Oh, nope, just kidding. Ultimate Christmas Present was before that. It was just hidden. Ultimate Christmas Present was right after Phantom of the Megaplex.
I love that movie.
We're going to do some math. So we're going to do Halloweentown 2 next week. Mm-hmm. Then we're going to do Stepsister and Planet Weird the first Sunday in November.
Yes.
I'm sharing the entire schedule with you guys right now, so you can...
I almost said, you mean October, but we're in October.
We're in October.
That's why we're doing Halloween.
First Sunday in November is Stepsisters from Planet Weird. Ready to Run will be the next one.
I don't know if I know Ready to Run.
That's literally reading it to you out loud just now is the first time I've ever seen it.
Does it say who's in it?
No.
Okay.
I mean, if I click on it, it will, but... Okay. So week 1, week 2, week 3 is Quince. Week 4 is my mom's got a date with a vampire.
Oh my God.
Then Phantom of the Megaplex. Week 6 is the ultimate Christmas present.
That's perfect.
I think that's like spot on where we want it to be. So that's cool.
You guys, this lineup is so good. With the exception of Ready to Run,
that we've probably never heard of before.
Those are so good. Such good movies. Those are my favorites.
I'm so here for it.
Quince, Phantom of the Megaplex.
Quince is so good.
Oh my gosh.
And then Xenon the Sequel is after Ultimate Christmas Present, which I loved Xenon. Xenon was my favorite DCOM.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that one. But yeah, I think that's everything. You guys have the schedule until Christmas now. So feel free to watch ahead.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited now.
I know. That's going to be really cool. Yeah.
Yay.
So next week we are rewatching Halloweentown 2, Calabar's Revenge. Get your homework done, guys, because unfortunately we're not allowed to like watch the movies while we're doing the podcast because of copyright laws and such. But you guys can watch it ahead of time and then join us. We can discuss it. And if you feel so inclined, you can interact with us here on the live stream. If you don't have time to catch us on the live stream, that's okay. You can always find the video on demand, the VOD of the podcast on our YouTube channel at the Noah Parker channel. Or if you are a audio person, you can head over to Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Sorry, I'm looking at the camera, but I'm not on the camera. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeart Podcasts, Castbox, and Amazon Podcasts. And you can search for Noah Parker's World of Wonder, and there you'll find all of the DCOM Kids episodes, the Disney Trivia Night episodes, and the one-off whenever we get to do them with Mom, or random more park-specific episodes that retain the name Noah Parker's World of Wonder. You can do that. And yeah, follow us on our social media pages. We are on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Noah Parker's World of Wonder. Feel free to head over there to interact with us, message us, ask questions if you have any, make requests. If you guys request enough for us to skip to a DCOM, we will.
Probably, yeah.
But yeah, that about covers it, I think. Join us on Friday night at 7:30 for more Disney trivia. I think we have everything sorted out to finally actually use the Disney trivia cards that we used a couple times last season. I just want to mix it up a little bit because the app only has so many questions. If I can make it happen, there's a possibility that we stick with the whole spooky theme, kind of, and we have like spooky questions. We'll see if I can find one. But, yeah, I think that about sorts it out. Do you have anything you would like to say?
No.
Okay, that's all right. That's all right with me.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you for joining us. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode of DCOM Kids, and we hope you join us next Sunday on the live stream. And again, if you don't have time, that's okay. Feel free to subscribe, leave a rating on the podcast, and I think... Oh, I did things right. Okay, I think that is just about everything I have for you guys tonight. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening. And until next time, let the wonder take hold.